Now, let's get on to the NDC Congress and first have some insights. We'll first go to the now elected chair. We're talking about General Isiedu Nketia. That's Johnson Isiedu Nketia. He's now chairman Isiedu Nketia. And we'll get his closing speech or his first remark as elected chairman for the NDC. And then we'll come back, we'll have some discussion, play more of it. So we'll have Isiedu Nketia, we'll go on with, I believe, Pablo, and then we have Joseph Yamin as well.
The party and bring everybody who could not be endorsed today on board, even as we march forward to defeat the elephant and set the nation on the path of progress and prosperity again. I see this election as a call to duty. The duty is enormous. The opponent has imposed on us the duty to resist, because it's been said that wherever impunity becomes law, resistance becomes a duty. And we cannot let our country, Ghana, down. The 2024 elections is not only an election for the sake of the National Democratic Congress, but more importantly, it is an election to regain the independence of this country. The path will not be smooth, but we will stand up to the challenge. And we are prepared to sacrifice everything, and I mean everything, including our lives, to make sure that this country is delivered.
Many are saying that, there was an injunction, but then you have been sworn in. What do you have to say?
I have not been served any injunction. And injunctions are not served in the media. It's served to the parties. As a lawyer, I'm law-abiding. Once I have not been served, I don't see why I should not be sworn in. The party have sworn me in. If there is an injunction, we'll cure it.
This is not going to deter you at all from doing your work as a national youth organizer, is it?
I won the elections fair and squarely. The Electoral Commission duly declared the results and called the elections for me. So I am working. I've started work already. And so I am still in the process of doing what I have.
Do you still hope to work with your contender, your main contender?
We had a new national chairman. We are bringing on board everybody. So everybody who contested is part of the NDC. Once you are willing to avail yourself to work, we will work with you.
And we have on the line the communications officer for the NDC, Sami Jemfi. Good morning to you, Mr. Jemfi.
Good morning, Roland.
And considerably, when you look at the overall outcome of this election, and then touching base with the delegates of your party, what's the signal you're getting?
Well, the signal I get when I look at the decisions that the delegates of our party made at last Saturday's Congress is that the party is poised for victory in the 2024 upcoming general elections, because they rewarded loyalty, trustworthiness, and competence. And that, for me, is not supposed to be taken lightly at all. As our national chairman indicated, that is a call to duty by not only the delegates, but the rank and file of the party, for those of us who have been privileged to have been chosen to lead the process of kicking out the despotic, nepotistic corrupt and incompetent Akufo-Addo Bawumia government come 2024 and rescue our beloved Ghana from the hands of this incompetent bunch who have plunged this country into unprecedented economic hardships. And so it's a call to duty. The delegates of our party will expect nothing less than victory in 2024. We understand that. We do not take the confidence they have reposed in us for granted. And we will work hard and do everything possible under the sun, sacrifice our all to ensure that this dream becomes a reality come 7 December 2024.
Now, you look at the array of people elected, including you, of course. There should be some lessons from the last election in terms of the way the party went about its involvement, ultimately leading to the loss and subsequently ending at the court. That should inform the way you undertake your actions towards 2024. What would they be?
Well, the delegates of our party know best. I believe in their discernment. I believe in their wisdom. And I can agree with you that our performance in the 2020 general elections partly informed the considerations or the factors they took in consideration in voting the way they did. But that is not to say that our performance in the 2020 elections was abysmal. Not at all. We made significant strides in that contest. I believe that we made a lot of positive gains that cannot be denied, moving the party from 106 parliamentary seats to 137 through our collective efforts. And thanks to the people of Ghana who bought into our messages in the various constituencies, moving our presidential votes from a little over 4 million in 2016 to 6.5 million in 2020 was no mean feat. And so I believe they took all that into consideration. But definitely what they are expecting as far as 2024 is concerned is for us to achieve a resounding victory in that election. And so I'm sure they took all these factors into consideration before they voted the way they did. But that is in the past now. Newly elected executives have been sworn in. The job has already begun. And as our leader and national chairman, Honorable Johnson Ketia, has indicated, we are hitting the ground running. There is no time for celebration. There is no time for any needless energies and activities that are not in sync with our collective objective of recapturing power in 2024 to save our beloved Ghana now.
All right, let me just leave you to go. But before then, there was some fracas, and I'm sure your one key personality was involved in one of that. How do you intend mending those ones? And then, what are the main issues involving the current state of the governance of the country that you think that if you provide the solutions, will bring voters on your side?
Well, first of all, let me say that there's not been any fracas involving myself. There are no cracks to be mended. We are united as one family by our common goal, our common objective, which is to win power for the NDC. And through that, bring about the transformation and the changes in the living conditions of Ghanaians that the people of this country are yearning for. So that is my answer to that. On the second leg of your question, I think, Roland, you'll agree with me that all is not well with Ghana. We are witnessing a floundering economy that is in complete shambles. an economy with a total freeze on public sector employment, an economy with inflation galloping at over 50.6%, an economy that is leading to joblessness and excruciating hardships for the vast majority of our people. And there is a general call for a change in the socioeconomic conditions of our people. And so it will be the duty of the next NDC government, I believe, in 2025, to transform this economy and restore the lost investor confidence, which is what is precipitating the economic malice we have on our hands. So prudent economic management that will restore investor confidence in our economy and create the enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. But above all, leadership of sincerity, leadership of vision, leadership that cares, that has empathy for the people, leadership that respects the human rights of all and will include all, irrespective of their backgrounds, in the governance process. That is what the NDC stands for, and that is what we will offer when given the opportunity on 7 December 2024.
Thank you, Sammy Jemfi. I could feel the croakiness in your voice. Certainly shows that you're tired. All of us had to do 24 hours. And I have to say that I have to commend both the MPP and NDC for organizing their conference and then subsequently the Congress by the NDC at the Accra Sports Stadium without any fracas. And it was just as smooth as it could go. And of course, it was.
But before I sign out, let me reiterate our profound appreciation to you, our friends in the media, for the wonderful job you did for us at Accra Sports Stadium from Friday to Saturday, all throughout our 10th Delegates Congress. We are most grateful to you. We are also grateful to the Ghana Police Service, the Electoral Commission, the Diplomatic Corps, and all those who contributed in making this 10th Delegates Congress of the NDC a major success. God bless you all.
Thank you, Sammy Jemfi. He's a communication officer for the NDC. Bit tired. Mutalat was tired, but there's a pickup. He had to be sworn in the morning. So, but Fuseni, what do you think? He seems to say that they're going to give the MPP a run for their money.
Roland, the NDC being a public institution, certainly we should be interested in what happens within the NDC. And being a government at the reins of power today, we also would love to see a very functional opposition party to play its role in the democratic governance that we have all agreed to roll out as a country. I followed the events of Saturday on and off, or should I say Saturday and Sunday, on and off. Along the line, I saw the energy at the Congress, and it's to be expected because when you go through this, especially the political parties, I mean, we relate to people across the country, but at events like this is where we get to share that commonality within the party, though. On Sunday morning, I caught the speech of the now chairman, then secretary. I don't know now if it's going to be a general chairman or chairman general. I'm not too sure how he's going to go, Mosquito. I think that I don't know whether it was because he was caught up in the moment, but he said something that I really didn't think was quite good for a party chairman, especially for the chairman of a biggest opposition party. He had gone on to say that they were going to do anything possible to wrestle power, including putting their lives on it. But I want to urge him that he should probably start pegging himself from the warmongering character that we've known him to be over the years as the general secretary. As a chairman, I'd expect that he's cloaked in that sort of dignified, and then speeches like that from him, it's not going to be too helpful. I mean, if you look at the demeanor of the people at the event, probably a quarter or more of them were wearing berets, which is very militant. I didn't think that for the democracy that we have agreed to partake.
You mean the
Militancy
Che
has,
Guevara beret?
yeah, I don't think militancy has any role in there when it comes to militancy.
Why you
That's
equate
why
the
we
wearing
have,
of berets to
that is,
militancy?
I mean, for me, it equates to. I mean, we are a country that has
musicians
a history.
wear military fatigues for their concerts, etc. So what?
For a country and where we have come from, it is not for nothing that you can wear camouflage anywhere in the U.S. with no problem. But in Ghana, it is an offense to wear military sort of uniforms, and we see every now and again and people being arrested or accosted or for one reason or the other for wearing fatigue that we know to be of military in character. So it is. I mean, I think that we should move away from those sort of behaviors. Then again, there is a question of lawlessness and all of that happening. We just saw
lawlessness happening.
We just saw a clip that you purported to play. I don't know why it really got truncated along the line. As to whether there was a court injunction on some positions, as to whether there were no court injunctions, I am not too clear. But I also want to see the party resolve that and move on. But as a Democrat and as somebody who supports democracy and as a very active member of my party, I should say that I was scandalized by some of the revelations that came up in the run-up to the elections, particularly the tapes Asidun Ketia was purported to have said. In fact, not purported, because I had seen a subsequent tape. I don't know about the date and the timing. But if it's true, and if he had accepted that he had said those things on a platform, particularly relating to collation of election results in the 2020 elections, I think that is something that we should all pay some attention to, because if he was actually if he actually knew those facts, he knew that at the time of close of polls at the 2020 elections, they had not done any internal collation to verify whether or not the results are declared by the EC. I don't know how he ended up, but they ended up calling people to come on the streets to demonstrate against the results that the EC was going to declare or had declared. If he knew that they had no basis to challenge those results, I'm wondering why he did that. And as a chairman of a political party like the NDC, I think that the whole nation should avert our minds to issues like that. Let us find some the reason why those things will happen. Because if you didn't have any basis, why then do you call on Ghanaians to go on the streets and demonstrate against the results that the EC had declared? I think these are cogent matters, and they are matters. And even further to that, you went to the Supreme Court, wasted public funds and all of this, wasted everybody's time. When you knew deep down your heart that you had no basis for challenging the results, you had not done any internal collation. And from what I heard from the tape, apparently when they started the collation, midway the system crashed, so they couldn't finish. So if you didn't have any, why waste everybody's time? It was also quite apt that the team that represented the New Patriotic Party at the Congress had actually offered to the NDC that we are ready to help them in building a system that will help them do their internal coalition in down the line. So if they need help, we are going to help them. We have proven in 2016 we did excellent job. In 2020 we did. So we are ready to help them when being it technical, whatever support they need from the New Patriotic Party. Because it is our interest that we also have a strong opposition party to hold us in check whilst we govern this nation. So it's an offer that we have made to the NDC. But for me, I am very scandalized that the now chairman of the NDC knew deep down his heart that he had no basis and wasted everybody's time at the Supreme Court.
What do you make of the new area of people you have and some of the concerns you have been raising?
A very good friend of mine sent me a message when I said that in the 10 years Messi and Ronaldo played in the Spanish league, Messi scored more goals. He said that no, what I said, and if he's listening, I said let's assess the two players based on their play, the 10 years they all played in the Spanish league. And the Spanish league, Messi scored more goals than Ronaldo. That's a fact. So I was not saying that Messi scored more goals in general. I mean in the Spanish league, if he was listening. Permit me also to extend my sincere condolences to the family of Honorable Jaja. Unfortunately, he lost the mother, I think this dawn. May she find favor.
The Member of Parliament here.
Yes, Jaja. May she find favor in the merciful hands of Allah. And also, my brother, my comrade, and a strong member of the NDC, AU Farouk, unfortunately, who met his...
He was part of the delegates.
Yes, he was even in Accra. He came, when they arrived, I spoke with the team. And then that day, I think that he lost his life. I mean, Allah said that every soul shall taste what? Death. What's the name? Kullu nafsin za'iqatul maut. That every soul shall taste death. And there isn't any human being who will remain. So my condolences to the bereaved family. He was from Tamale North, and he contested for the deputy communication officer. But you could not even tell which constituency he belonged because he's found in every NDC activity. He's a regular contributor to this program. And
to TV3 News.
Yes, he sent messages, A.U. Farouk. May he find favor in the merciful hands of Allah. Roland, let me first and foremost thank the Almighty Allah for what happened. And I'll say that Alhamdulillah alladhi tawadu'a kulla shay'in bi'izzatihi walhamdulillah alladhi zalla kulla shay'in bi'izzatihi walhamdulillah alladhi hadda'a kulla shay'in limulkihi walhamdulillah alladhi istaslama kulla shay'in liqudratihi. We can only thank Allah for having taken us through a peaceful, successful Congress. And it was not just peaceful, which has been acknowledged by people like you. It gave us a result of leaders who have all gone through the mill within the NDC. If you look at the caliber of people elected, the national chairman had been an active member of the PNDC, NDC, up to the fact that he has held several positions. He has been a member of parliament. If you look at, and he has been a secretary, the longest secretary, I think for about 17 years.
I think he still thinks he's still in the mode of a general secretary.
I listen
Please
to
go
you
ahead,
when
go
we
ahead.
talk. I listen to you. Don't do this.
Oh,
you know, he
I'm
has
just hoping you ask
I
us.
listen to you. The longest serving
Today no
secretary.
fight.
If you look at the first vice chair in the persons of Sofu Azoka, he has been an active member of the NDC. He has been a grassroots man, and he understands what happens within the grassroots. You look at Honorable Sherry Aite. I mean, this is a person who has given her all to the NDC. She has been a minister of state, an active member of the NDC. Look at my brother and a comrade, Fifi Kwete. Myself and Fifi have worked for a very long time. I worked with him in setting the record straight. Before 2018, he did an exceptional work, exposing the rot of the MPP at that time and the lies that they governed this country at the time with. When I became the NYP Deputy National Coordinator, he was made the Deputy Minister for Finance. I worked with him. Then, interestingly, after 2012 elections, myself and he in 2013 became members of Parliament. I had the privileged opportunity to be appointed at the time by President Mahama as the Deputy Minister for Information and later moved to Minister of Trade. He was then made a Minister for Agri. I've had an outstanding working relationship with very sharp, very intelligent, very strong, very courageous. If you look at all the people, I can't take all of them. Alaji Kulu Yangai, the national organizer Yamin, an active participant. These are the caliber of people the NDC, elected. So, and that is why I gave praises and thanks to Allah for that. But you see, I thought my brother would have understood that this day is NDC. We had our elections. When you had your Congress and you elected people you yourself accused of being corrupt before you went into the elections. When we sat here, we praised you. We said, look, it went peacefully. I thought he would have found some at least pretend even to be very honest by congratulating the NDC and doing that. But you see, they still do not realize that they are at the other end of the table. He used very strong words on Assailant, and he said the warmongering character he's been known for. Who knows him to be a warmongering character? If there is any warmongering character in our body politics today, it's the president, Mr. Nana Addo. Everybody knows, to the extent that international organizations describe him as a danger before the danger to the security of this country before the 2016 elections. This is a person who said that I remember my first year in the University of Ghana before the 2000 election. He said that if the MPP did not win the election, that there will be bloodshed in this country. The tapes are still available. Now you sit here and you describe General Mosquito as a warmongering character, the only warmongering character, and in fact who has still not even changed. Even when he became president, he continued with that mongering character attitude. So he is the only person who is known to be having that character. Interestingly, my brother said that they were wearing beret. I mean, where was that coming from? I didn't know whether I should cry or I should laugh listening to him. People are wearing beret and that becomes a problem. And he says that he considered beret. Look, revolution has a long way to go, but has come to stay. Revolution will always be with every democratic processes. Democracy does not, and let me say this with emphasis, democracy does not insulate revolution. There is a revolution, a democratic revolution. There is a revolution even in democracy. The ability of people to defend the democratic processes is revolution. So even if you assumed that wearing beret connotes revolution or militancy, then so be it. As long as that militancy, as long as that revolution seeks the interests of the people of this country and protect and safeguard the democracy that we have all collectively chosen for ourselves, then it must be the case. So I don't know where that was coming from. He also said that the lawlessness, I mean, you see, if you have nothing to say, you could have just said, look, I don't have anything to say on this topic. You listen to the gentleman, our national youth organizer, who said, I haven't been served. Now he moved from archaeology to zoology. Maybe it's a case of Ifagama lizard, more paper. He wanted to pick on that lawlessness because there is news that there is an injunction. The gentleman says, I'm a lawyer. I haven't been served with any injunction. So the NDC did no wrong in swearing him in. And said there was another scandal. I won't talk about that. If you talk about scandals, your party is pregnant with scandals in every aspect of your governance. And our indefatigable, very intelligent communication officer, Sami Jemfi, could not have encapsulated everything that happened and the need to choose these people than the words he used. That we have chosen people who are coming to salvage this country. We have chosen people who are coming to liberate this country. And that is why General Mosquito said that we are having a second independence. We are going to liberate the people of this country from the mess that have been created by corruption. In fact, not corruption, thievery that has engulfed the entire structure of this government. We are coming to liberate the people of this country by the economic quagmire that you have subjected everybody to. Today, you have doubled unemployment. You have more than doubled unemployment from which you take in the NDC. You took the unemployment under the NDC 6.8. Today, what is the unemployment rate? The census that was conducted pegged the unemployment at 17.4. We just realized that the Ghana Statistical Service sometime last 2 weeks came out with new figures, putting the unemployment at 13.9. That is the legacy that President Nana Addo and you people are going to leave to the people of this country. And again, if you are talking about the entire economic situation, what is inflation today? I listened to the president. I mean, I don't know how uninformed he ever wants to be. And he said that the reason why the CD is dropping is because of the policy intervention, policies he announced, policies that have not even been implemented. Yet the president will look into our miserable faces and says that, oh yeah, the reason why we have this is as a result of the policy intervention. Which policy did he announce? Perhaps you don't even listen to the president.
Which policy? Tell me what he has said. Let's enrich our discourse.
I listened.
Let's enrich
what
the
is
discourse.
More enriching the discourse is to be quiet and listen to me. You said a
but
lot.
let's enrich
I said,
it.
hold on. I'm saying that you said, did you listen to the president yesterday?
It is nice.
Did you listen to the president yesterday?
Yes, I listened to
What did he say about the economy?
You are saying that
I'm making a point.
You are saying that he's giving credit to policies that have...
I'm making my...
Just to enrich the discourse.
Look, the president said that it is not out of nothing. It's as a result of the interventions.
Yes.
Which intervention?
There are a lot of monetary policies.
So which policies are you asking me to then tell me?
There are a lot of monetary
which policy? You see, you are not even listening to yourself. Hold on. I just said the president said, because of the policy intervention. Then you asked me, that which policy?
Yes.
And I said, look,
what you are saying that he's attributing the good fortunes of the currency towards policies that are not being run.
Will you tell this gentleman to allow me to make my point?
These array of gentlemen that you have elected.
Thank you for bringing us
How
back
do
on
they
track.
match up? You look at the array of people who have been elected by the governing MPP.
Look, the dichotomy is too wide.
Oh,
take the
what dichotomy?
Take their chairman and take our chairman. It's
like their chairman is Dr. Stephen Ayensu.
I am saying that take him, compare him with General Mosquito in terms of appreciating our body politics. General Mosquito has been engaged in our body politics longer than him in terms of the grassroots.
Well, he has been trying to be chairman for some time.
He has been trying.
He's been vice chairman.
President Nanado attempted to be president for several times. When he finally got it, what did he bring to this country? Mess. So it is not about trying it several times. In terms of the pedigree of appreciating our body politics and what happens, General Mosquito is it's like Messi. It's like Messi. It's like Messi and my football. Azoka has been a grassroots man. I can tell you, Azoka has been a grassroots man, someone who understands the local politics. Mind you, he was elected. Not just this, he was elected as first vice chair, elected again as first vice chair. In terms of appreciating the body politics, the grassroots, he stands tall than any of their numerous incompetent vice chairs that they have elected. Take I mean, you can't. This guy is not only intelligent, he's smart, he's sharp, he's hardworking,
but
he's
they also have JFK.
He's fearless.
You know JFK?
That gentleman, I told you that he ought to be investigated about what he did at NYEP.
Oh, wow.
And I have said this on this program.
Why do you just jump issues like that?
Not jump.
We are talking about the political party leadership and you jump
He's
to
comparing the two.
What is it?
And I'm saying that I have been talking about this on this program.
Is this not the
I have been talking
about the vault at Bank of Ghana?
Oh, I listened to you. Allow me.
Is it not a propaganda?
And then you have Joseph Yami.
Will you tame him?
You have Joseph Yami.
If you don't respect myself, you respect the view.
You have Joseph Yami. You have Joseph Yami. Please, all of you come on board. Come on board. Come on board.
Angry with you. Listen, I'm saying that.
Joseph Yami.
The reason why I am talking, because you are saying that we should look at the two. You are bringing the two.
Yeah, so Joseph Yami.
Yamin is way ahead. Look, the only way you can win elections as opposition party is to have people who have the leg to work at the grassroots. Yamin has been a grassroots man. He has been a deputy minister of the party. He has been a leader of the party in the Ashanti region, more so in a region that is completely disappointed in the MPP because they have said publicly that you are developing certain parts of the country than yes. They said Nanado is developing his home. The Ashanti region, that gives them the bulk of their votes. I am not the one saying it. To the extent that you have leading members of your party, including members of parliament, who said that the Ashanti region has been given a terrible deal. And you have someone who is coming from that region. He understands the frustration of the people in the Ashanti region who always give you the bulk of your votes. Those people are saying that it's a mess. So a party could not have elected a better person as our national organizer than him. Look, any of the people who contested, and I have said this, that if any of them had been elected, the NDC would have been the winner because the frustrations of the people of this country are telling. But you see, let me also caution the NDC, myself and everybody.
Wrap up.
We will not win the elections just because this government is a mess.
You are not thinking the elections on a silver platter, right?
No,
you are not saying
we can only win the elections if we work. What we need to do, bury our differences, bury the differences that exist within the branch level, the constituencies and the regions, and understand that what is confronting us is what psychologists call superordinate problem. And in finding a solution to superordinate problem, you need concerted effort. You need to galvanize your forces together. That is the only thing we have today. And I can tell you that if I had my way, I would have said that we shouldn't have a presidential primaries and just have President Mahama as the candidate. And the reason why...
But that's not democratic.
No, it's not. I'm saying if I had my way. And I'm still mindful of the democratic processes. But I'm saying this because that would have avoided some cost. If you don't go primaries, that would have avoided some backlash because naturally when you go into elections, there will be a lot of statements that may be made. those things would have happened. Once you do that, but you see, as a democratic party, a party that has heralded the democratic processes and shepherded this our democracy till now.
Which one is that?
The NDC.
The NDC.
Yes, I had the privilege.
Let's wrap up.
I
want to go to
I had the
the
privilege opportunity.
Sure
I had the privilege opportunity to have listened to Professor Ali Mazuri at the Great Hall of University of Ghana, and he made a famous statement. He said, "Look, President Rawlings could have decided not to democratize."
That's true.
And he gave examples of other African
And
leaders.
continue with
Economically,
He said,
he didn't.
I'm saying he had.
He didn't.
Other country, why? Are you telling me that the challenges confronting Ghana was different from the challenges confronting other African countries? The demands that the Bretton Woods institutions and the Western world, who indeed are pushing their system of democratic governance on us, those same demands were made to those African leaders. They refused to budge. President Rawlings indeed agreed that we need to have a democratic process. We did that, not the thievery that we had with regards to elections.
Ibrahim Mutala, that's okay.
Guys,
now let's go to Kumasi. It's Kumasi where we have our chief of the bureau there, and we're talking about William Evans Inkum. William, thank you for joining us. You were with us, leading the team, also doing the coverage. What's your own observation about the number of people who have been elected, the delegates, the way they behaved, and then the array of personalities who are leading the charge for the NDC into 2024?
Well, thank you very much, Roland, and thank you, and also say good morning to our guest in the studio today. Well, I think I see some level of a political paradigm shift and a system that will definitely work for the National Democratic Congress, because we are talking about people who have been campaigning. For instance, somebody like Yamin has been campaigning since 2020, and he's also been frequenting hard-to-reach areas since they lost the elections in 2020. And I can tell you that it's definitely going to be a sleepless night for the MPP here in the Ashanti region, and they know what he can do. Then, of course, we're also talking about Johnson Sidun Ketia, 17 years in politics, 17 years of being the chief scribe of the largest opposition political party in in Ghana. He's coming in with rich communication skills. In journalism, we call hypodermic syringe. When he hits the message, you know the level of effect that it will have. This time around, he is progressing from the chief scribe to the higher decision-making space, and that is the national chairman of the party. The bar stops at him, and he's going to make certain decisions that definitely will take solely responsible for. And I think it is also going to impact effectively as far as the NDC is concerned. Now, back to the grounds. I think it was a well-coordinated program. On Saturday, we spoke to one of the organizing, the grounds organizing committee member, Anthony, and he assured that they were going to ensure that the entire process ended successfully, and of course, without a hitch, and exactly what we saw, because some of us had some level of doubt. Considering what happened in Cape Coast, the fact that vigilantism, which we all thought had been banned, but we saw glimpses of that. So some of us were a bit apprehensive. We're not going to see that happening at the main event ground, talking about the National Delegate Congress, which of course happened at the Accra Sports Stadium. But I think they allowed the police to do their work, and that did magic for them. I believe that going forward, if the NPP, the NDC will allow police to do their work, just stay away, from any form of interference, allowing them to maintain law and order, then definitely they will have a very successful event. And that is exactly what we saw about 24 hours ago. So all in all, it was very smooth. The kind of leadership that they have elected, having spoken with some of the delegates, I think that is the kind of leadership they want. Look, the last time the NDC had 26% in the Ashanti region, they won the election. That was in 2008. In 2012, they had 28%, of course, but coming back to 2020, they had another 26%. Unfortunately, they couldn't win. But even with that, they were able to sweep a lot of votes in the Ashanti region. Go to Asawase constituency, for instance. In 2016, the gap was just a little over 5,000. But check the 2020, results. Go to New Dubiase constituency. That seat was in the camp of the NDC before the 2016 elections, but they won it back. Edra, we thought it was going to be one of the swing seats as far as our political, our elections are concerned in the Ashanti region, but they ensured that that particular seat is retained. NDC is gradually making inroads as far as the Ashanti region is concerned, unless, of course, you don't want to accept the reality. And they are targeting 30% in the Ashanti region. Many think that it is possible for them because of the kind of momentum that they are gathering in the Ashanti. And if you speak to some of the MPs in the Ashanti region, they believe, even though they will not come out in the open, but they will tell you that NDC is making a lot of inroads in the Ashanti region. The politics in the Ashanti region is gradually changing, and the people who are real, people who are honest, politically will tell you that yes, things are not the way it uses to be, because places that you wouldn't dare say you are an NDC person, now people are coming out strongly to make themselves known as far as the NDC space is concerned. People, when they last had their registration exercise, go to the constituencies, the branches, a number of people were trooping in just to get the NDC identity cards. It tells you that indeed they are making inroads. But that is also not to say that the NPP is also not, or the NPP is oblivious about, the fact that the NDC is gaining grounds in the Ashanti region. They are also doing everything possible to also neutralize, their political attack as far as the Ashanti region is concerned. But with this kind of leadership, I said in 2020, I followed this campaign, going to hard to reach areas, places that you wouldn't go. He took us to the Manso Enclave, a very remote area, and they were campaigning there. Well, unfortunately, I didn't see the NPP campaigning in those areas, and that is where they get a lot of their votes, the hinterlands. The NPP sometimes wouldn't go to such areas, but NDC go to such areas. And they've been doing this since 1992, because if you look at the very foundation upon which the NDC was built as a mass party, they believe in bringing everybody on board. But while I see some level of paradigm as far as the NPP is concerned, they are also trying to do that. But you can also not change the fact that the NDC has taken the lead, and for that matter, they will also have to change the way they campaign, especially in the stronghold Ashanti region. Now they know that they cannot sit back and say that, well, come what may, the people will vote for us. Look, what happened 2 months ago, even from the side of the majority, you know that since the inception of democracy, the Fourth Republic, even if you want to go back to the post-colonial era, I have not heard anywhere in our democratic records that, or in our political record, that members of the same party will rise against the decision of the executive. I'm talking about what happened in Parliament the last time. And unless, of course, you are overly complacent, that you would want to take that for granted. The level of anxiety among some of the MPs here, and the level of frustration, because of the decision of the president, is something that maybe they wouldn't want to take for granted. I'm talking about the executive. But if they're going to take for granted, then I can tell you that the 30% that the NDC is targeting in the Ashanti region, maybe they will even get more, Roland.
Bureau chief in the Ashanti region, and very much so, Ivan Sinkom has had great stints in political reporting. Is somebody who is well versed in the politics of the Ashanti region for both sides of the political divide. And many of the times he's been making some of these observations based on what he hears from the ground, his own observations, and then those within the within the fraternity of both the MPP and the NDC, who are his best sources. And so we'll take that, that we could have some responses on that, but we'll give you an insight from Joseph Yamin, who has been elected as the national organizer of the NDC. We'll take that insight, we'll go for a break. Should be ready now, and then at the end of the period, we'll go for a break. But if it's not ready, we'll still go for a break. When we come back, we'll play that inset of Yamin, and then we'll have some wrap-up conversation from Husseini Issa, who today consistently I've been getting his name right, so he will not say I called him Husseini Issa. And then also Mutala Mohammed, who is right.
You know, he's a Mosi boy.
Why do you like doing
when
that?
they are cooking yam,
we're taking a break. We'll be right back.